Okay, it's 6:30, the time that we are to begin. This is a meeting of the Murray City Municipal Council on Tuesday, July 19th, 2016. And I'd like to welcome everyone here, as well as those who are viewing this live on the internet, which is at murraycitylive.com. Also, for the record, I would like to note that Dave Nikponsky is excused and all other council members are present. Also, if you would turn off your cell phones, I would appreciate it. And now we'll get on with the opening ceremonies. So first, we've got the Pledge of Allegiance, and Janet Towers has said she would be happy to do it. Thank you, Janet.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Janet. All right, next is approval of minutes for our council meeting July 7th, 2016. At this point, are there any additions or changes to the minutes? All right, do I have a motion? The council meeting July 7th.
Do we have something different? We might have something different. I don't have it on my thing either.
You don't have it on yours? Oh,
You have it?
I have it. Interesting. Okay, never mind.
We
Well-
do have a meeting.
I know. Where's,
There's Janet.
do we have council meeting minutes for July 7th? I have it on my agenda, but we don't have them. No one else does.
Yours was preliminary.
Okay, all right, never mind. That's okay. We'll go on to special recognition. And this is Murray City Council Employee of the Month, Brandon Francis, who is a Murray City police officer, and Brett Hales and Chief Burnett will be presenting.
Brandon, if you come up, please. Come up here, Brandon. I know, you love this. We as a council came up with Employee of the Month. It's been about 4 years ago. We were saying 2 years, 2.5. Now it's 4 years, probably going more like 5. But anyway, so it's to recognize employees and to just show of our appreciation. So Brandon, Craig, Chief Burnett will present this to you. Well, I'll present this part to you. This is from the City Council, and then we'll have your name back there on a plaque. And then we have a $50 gift card for you.
Thank you.
And as a council, we appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you. Craig?
Yeah, this is really a great opportunity, and we're excited to be able to have the chance to honor one of our officers today. You know, the events of the last few weeks have really driven home the importance of what these officers do, the dangers that they face, and the things that they do, and the honorable people they are, just going out and trying to make sure that the community we live in is safe. And so it's really an honor for me to be able to at least introduce one of them to you and to give some recognition to Brandon. Brandon's been with us for 4 years. Since 2012, he's a patrol officer. He's been recognized several times as an officer of the quarter, and what that means is the supervisors every quarter for each shift choose someone who is stellar in what they're doing, goes above and beyond what they're expected to do each and every day. Brandon's one of those officers. He comes to work, he does a great job, he's very professional, represents the police department and the city of Murray very well. serves as one of our field training officers right now, which is a good position for him to share his knowledge and the things that he does and helping us train new officers, which we seem to be getting a lot of lately. So we appreciate and recognize the work he does. In fact, we just today let him know that he's going to go part-time working with the Metro Gang Unit. So, you know, he's a great employee and one that we're proud of, and so it's a good honor for him.
You have any introduce his family?
Do you want to introduce your family, Brandon?
This is my wife, Katie, my youngest son, Colton. This is Katie's brother, Eric, their grandma, Darlene, my oldest son, Connor, and their mom, Michelle.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here. And Brandon, thank you so much for all you do to keep our city safe. We really do appreciate it. Okay. The next is citizen comments. These comments are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone here for our citizen comments? Also, I would like to say that this is not the public hearing. We have the public hearing a little later. This is for citizens to speak with the council. Okay. Seeing none, we'll continue on to the consent agenda. And if there are, if everyone's okay with it, I would like to take these together.
Sure.
Is that okay with the council?
Yes.
Okay. The first one, 7.1, is consider confirmation of the mayor's appointment of Drew Pearson to the Murray Library Board of Trustees in an at-large position for a 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2019. And the second one is consider confirmation of the mayor's appointment of Nicholas Skeen to the Murray Library Board of Trustees in a District 4 position for the remainder of a term which expires June 30th, 2017. Mayor Iyer?
Yes, if Drew Pearson would please stand here tonight. Don't see him here. I had the opportunity to interview Drew. He's been if I remember right, member of our city for 39 years. For those of you that might be raising your hand, he graduated from the University of Utah, which was a big plus for him. And he has a great deal of marketing experience. He was involved with Financial Corporation, Management Corporation. He was on the Murray Foundation Education, and he's also been a Murray Little League coach involved in soccer, baseball, football for a good number of years. I think Drew would be a very good applicant for our Murray City Library Board of Trustees at large position. And I'd like to have you consider his recommendation and confirmation. The next one, Nicholas Skeen, please stand up. Nicholas didn't graduate from the University of Utah. He went out of state to the University of Pennsylvania. Isn't that correct? Is that correct? Yeah, graduated from there. But Nicholas is the president or owner of Sylvan Learning Center.
Yeah, franchisee.
Yeah.
East Salt Lake Valley.
And we've had the opportunity to work with Sylvan from another position that I was in, and it really has benefited so many people that we have sent up there, and so we know the quality of training that is offered at Sylvan. He's also been an investment manager and private equities manager, development and business directors, and systems analyst for an investment bank. So I would like to recommend Nicholas for your consideration for confirmation in District 4 for the Murray Library Board. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I would make a motion that we adopt the consent agenda.
And I'll second.
All right. Is there discussion on the motion? If not, Jennifer, would you call roll?
Mr. Hels?
Aye.
Mr. Kemp?
Aye.
Mr. Ross?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you very much for your willingness to serve on the board.
Yes. We really appreciate it. Okay, number 8 is the public hearing. Let's see. What we've got is consider an ordinance authorizing an inter-fund loan from the Water Fund to the Golf Fund. That would be Justin Zollinger.
Appreciate coming before council tonight. We've historically done this occasionally. When we do a loan internally from one fund to another fund, as long as our cash reserves are in an appropriate place, it saves us money in that we don't have issuance costs when you get a loan. There's origination fees. Typically, it might be a little bit higher interest rate, but the 2% interest rate that's being charged is still approximately 1% higher than our investments we're getting right now. So it's a good deal for the water fund to earn a little bit more interest. And if we're going to pay the interest, why not pay it to ourselves? So that's some of the reasons why we've done an interfund loan. And this is a small one. It's not a very large one, but the golf course is paying off the previous interfund loan right now. I mean, it's this month they're going to be paying it off and issuing it. And we actually balance the budget with this payment already included in it, even though it won't be for a year to pay it. And so it's included in our budget. So any questions?
Okay.
I guess let me reference the amount. The interfund loan amount is $223,240.50. So.
All right.
Okay.
So I will open. That's okay. I will open this public hearing for public comment. Do we have anyone who would like to speak to this? Okay. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing and open it to the council for their consideration. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move that we approve an ordinance authorizing an interfund loan from the Water Fund to the Golf Fund.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Just that is for the amount mentioned, $223,240,000, or excuse me,
million.
$223,240 and 50 cents.
I take back my motion if it's...
Just seeing if you were listening.
I think Dick Stauffer would have called that spurious accuracy.
Jennifer, would you call the roll?
Mr. House?
Aye.
Mr. Kemp?
Aye.
Mr. Brass?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The motion passes. We have no unfinished business. Now we're to new business. The first one is a Murray City Police Department official notification of the intent to apply for the 2016 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant. Chief Burnett?
Thank you. That's a lot to say. We just call it the JAG grant.
Oh, good to know.
Just so I don't have to repeat that whole thing over again because I'll probably mess it up. Annually, we have the opportunity of applying for this grant. The amount varies annually depending on some factors with our reporting with the FBI and our crime, some money that is dispersed throughout the county. This year, we're looking at around $27,000. When that award comes through, we'll have to go through a budget opening. But we, as part of the grant process, we need to make our intent known to you and publicly that we're going to apply for the grant, and that once we get that grant, we will be using those funds for body-worn camera equipment to further the equipment that we currently have, and to supplement with some hard drives and storage capabilities. So that's really what we're here for today, is just to let you know this is we're applying for the grant, and this is what we're going to do with the grant, and it's just one of the requirements that the Department of Justice requires of us. Happy to answer any questions.
Great. Any questions?
This doesn't require any council action, right? Just a notification?
It's just notification.
Okay. No questions? We'll go to the next one. Thank you, Chief. All right, 10.2. Consider an ordinance enacting Chapter 5.54 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to mobile food trucks. Jared Hall will be presenting.
Thank you. We are the Community and Economic Development Division for the last for the last 6 months or so. We've been working on an ordinance to address mobile food trucks in the city. That's not to say that we've never dealt with them in the past, but things have changed a lot in the way that mobile food trucks operate over the last couple of years, as you're probably all aware. We've received a lot of input from the mayor's office and from the attorney's office and tried to put together something that we think would address the issues and make it easier for people to operate their trucks in the city while still allowing us to regulate them well and keep things orderly. What this ordinance does is add a small section to an existing part of our business license regulations that defines mobile food trucks as a self-contained vehicle designed to serve food. That's to identify that we're not talking about ice cream vendors, we're not talking about snow cone shacks. Those are all things that we handle in different ways already in these codes that are handled pretty well in a set way. So we have defined food trucks by this ordinance, and then we actually do several things. First and foremost, these are not intended to be operated on private property. We're not talking about taco carts in the public right-of-way on the sidewalks, et cetera. These are only licenses that we would be issuing to mobile food trucks that would operate on private property. So in a parking lot at Sam's Club, in the parking lot at Barnes & Noble, something like that. Just to run through the list of things that are kind of covered by it, they have to be temporary. They're not meant to be in a certain place for 3 months at a time. They're meant to be somewhere for a day or so. For an event or something like that. They have to get approvals from the Salt Lake Valley Health Department, obviously, and provide those to us for the license. There would be no drive-through access for them. Pedestrians walk up to them, not cars. It's funny that you have to identify those things, but you really need to, otherwise there can be some problems. We also look at consent of the property owner. So you don't get to just go and set up under this ordinance. You would get the consent of whoever's property it is. You're usually invited, but we just want to clarify that in the ordinance. We try to be careful with that kind of thing. Signage is carefully controlled, keeping the sites clean, providing garbage and recycling receptacles. Also allows us in this to review where they're going to be and make sure that they don't inhibit access to the parking lot or decrease the parking that's allowed there or required there. Make sure that they have insurance on it that names us as a city as additional insureds. And then finally lets the fire department take a look at the truck before it goes into operation in the city. So what this would do, though, aside from all those things, is allow a mobile food truck operator to get a license with Murray City that lets them work in the city for a full year. It would be an annual license. They could operate on any piece of private property once they've adhered to these conditions and licensed with us that's in Murray City. And as long as they're operating under these tenets. That doesn't exclude people from doing special events. It doesn't exclude them from getting a temporary license to run a taco cart or something like that for a short period of time at an event. It doesn't exclude any of those things. It just adds an ability to do another kind of license that lets them operate more freely within the city but still be regulated. So that's what we're hoping to do with this. We've been working at it for a long time. I believe you're all familiar with it from the Committee of the Whole meeting we had, but if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions for Jared? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion we adopt the ordinance enacting Chapter 5.54 of the Murray City Municipal Code relating to mobile food trucks.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, Jennifer, would you call the roll?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. The next one, 10.3. Consider a resolution authorizing an amendment of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Salt Lake County and the city for prisoner transportation to and from the Murray City Municipal Justice Court. Frank Nakamura presenting.
Yes, for the last 2 years, we've used the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office to transport prisoners from the jail to the court for their court proceedings. That contract has expired, so we need to enter into another agreement. I think the services with the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office has worked out well. The only difference from the previous contract is that the fee will go up from $42.48 per prisoner to $47.65 per prisoner. But this is a renewal for a one-year period to have Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office continue to do the transport. Because it's Salt Lake County, we have an interlocal agreement that requires approval of the council.
Okay, any questions for Frank? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I will move approval of the resolution authorizing an amendment of an interlocal cooperation agreement between Salt Lake County and the city for prisoner transportation to and from the Murray City Municipal Justice Court.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. Jennifer, would you call the roll?
Mr. House?
Aye.
Mr. Camp?
Aye.
Mr. Brass?
Aye.
Ms. Turner?
Aye. Motion passes. Now we're to the mayor's part.
Just a few
Mayor?
items. Like always, as many of you know, we had a power outage last night in our city that affected about 1,000 residents. The longest that it was out was about 2.5 hours. As one of the councilmen said prior to the meeting, the reason that this makes such big news is because we have them so frequently. And we do. Our power reliability rate is so high. And one of the reasons for that is that when we have our own power company here, we have individuals that have worked for our power department company that helped to build that system. And they know that particular system. And so they're very quick to respond and very professional in what they do. Unfortunately, I think some of the heat that we've been experiencing might have contributed to that outing. And then when they tried to reboot that over to another circuit, it also overheated. So it was a little bit longer than normal, but it inconvenienced about 1,000 of our residents here. The other thing I'd like to bring up is you're very familiar with Kids Eat program that Linda Brown does. We normally put the large containers outside in different departments in our building. That's going to take place again from August 4th to August 15th, and there'll be a list on the barrels themselves of some of the items that you can bring to contribute. As you remember, she packs about 60 or 70 backpacks every week for her children from the Boys and Girls Club to take home over the weekend so that they can eat over the weekend. So it's one of the most wonderful programs we have in the city here by a very dedicated individual that has put this together to benefit the children that might not be able to have adequate food over during the weekend. And so we just encourage all the participation from all the different departments on that. We had the privilege today at 10 o'clock to review a preview of our new web page, our new, and it really looks great. It's going to be so much more user-friendly. It was kind of a first draft, kind of a rough draft to see if we had any comments on it or anything, but the presentation is absolutely beautiful, and the drop-down lists are all right there in front of you, so you don't have to look all over the page for everything. So much more user-friendly, and I think once we get it to a point where we can present it to the committee of the whole or something to look at, I think you'll really be surprised and amazed at how updated it can look and how beautiful it represents the city. And it has adequate space for us to have videos in there. For instance, we can run, whenever anybody hits the button, that 8-minute video that highlights the city itself. And it's going to be a very enjoyable and user-friendly website for us. Since we last met, we've had the opportunity to attend the Murray Symphony, and if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, I'm not sure how many other cities in the entire valley have their own symphonies, but we've had this symphony for 41 years, and there are about 80 people that participate in this symphony. They come from all over the valley. In fact, they even come from Evanston, Wyoming. They're all volunteers. They don't have to they don't have to audition for it, and so you have all kinds of different levels of talent and everything, but boy, they put out some great music. It was over at the amphitheater, and the amphitheater was so packed that the people were standing on the sides to get into it. I think our amphitheater holds about 700 people, and it was absolutely packed that evening, and they did a really great, the 1812 Overture with all the cannons that go off, and they had the Wasatch Cannoneers there with about 12 cannons, and it was quite a night. And so just wanted to highlight them because I think Those 80 individuals range from the age of 19 to 83, I think they said. So it's a wide range of people from all over the valley that come here to practice and then to perform at our amphitheater. And then the last thing I just wanted to let you know about was our Relay for Life that we had this last weekend. It was very successful. It raised an awful lot of money for cancer. They had the walk-a-thon throughout the night, but there was an awful lot of booths there that were selling items and donating all that money to the cancer. It was well organized, but besides that, the park was just packed. We had back-to-back performances for 2 nights in a row over at the amphitheater for ballet that the Wrights family puts on, and then there's about 1,000 people a day in the park walking around looking for Pokemon somewhere over there. So it's just overrun with people. As many of you know, and this will be my last comment about our park, when we presented to the ZAP board in our park, we were able to document that we have over 1 million people that use our park that we know of because they have registered for programs, they have rented pavilions, they attend our amphitheater, they go to our park center. So those people that we know of that we can count, we have well over 1 million people a year that use that park that we can count. We estimate that there's almost that many again that use the park that we don't know about. So our city park accommodates about 2 million people a year for different activities and stuff. And so I just wanted to let you know how. And it's one of the most beautifully maintained parks in the entire valley. So it's a real gem for our city. Thanks very much.
Any questions from the council or comments for the mayor? All right. With that, we'll be adjourned. Thank you.